I look at what's happening in Parliament, and with the experience I've got in multiple industries, multiple businesses, 20 years in the city, I can seldom get a question in. I'm an independent MP, and even though I've got expertise in football, even talking on the football governance bill was very difficult for me because I have very little standing. And Parliament's not interested in actually going to people who've got knowledge. It's interested in running using raw power, and the power of the elected government, Andrew, it's incredible. They can sideline people, they can ignore debate, they can filibuster, they can. So with the rape gang inquiry, I've got my own privately crowdfunded rape gang inquiry. The government's promised us a statutory inquiry. But, several times there was, Esther McVeigh and I were going to have a debate on it in Parliament, and it was literally, they keep pushing it back. They can use the agenda. They can slip in an urgent question or a ministerial statement. And suddenly, you've run out of parliamentary time. It gets pushed on. Because they might be implicated. Or the debate gets telescoped. So instead of having 5 hours, you end up with 3 hours or 2 hours or 1 hour.
But is that because they might be implicated, you think?
Well, I think there's no question that the establishment, the more work we're doing, and just so everybody knows, I mean, we raised about £600,000 from just over 20,000 people. We had to return a bit of money because we had to vet it properly and make sure it was all proper sort of pucker money.
Yeah.
And what we've been doing, and I've got a fantastic team working on this, and Sammy Woodhouse and Rob Bates, and we've got some really dedicated people. Sammy's a victim herself.
Yeah.
So, from what we can see, and we put out a statement the other day, it's been going on in, we think, at least 87 areas. That means many more towns and cities than that. This is areas. So it's running deep through the country. It's been running through the country since 2000, just as you mentioned, as immigration started to go up dramatically. And it's a case of the establishment, and that's the police, that's social services, it's the NHS, it's local politicians. It's all of the establishment have literally turned a blind eye and walked along the other side of the street. Meanwhile, vulnerable white working class girls have been ritually abused by largely Pakistani Muslim men. There's some Afghanistanis and some Bangladeshis, but the majority of it is Pakistani Muslim men. So, yes, it's a blot on our history, and we intend to finish our work, which we're doing, then have a proper hearing, which we'll probably have now in February. We were trying to do it in November, but we just had too much to do. Probably have it in February, and we'll then produce a report. We've, I think, played a part in forcing the government to announce they're going to have a statutory inquiry, which they did 6, 7, 8 weeks ago. I can't remember exactly. And they've announced nothing since. So we've got no terms of reference. We've got, absolutely no information about how they're going to go about it. What they were trying to do, Andrew, was silo it. So they were trying to silo it in a small number of areas where they could say, oh, this is just a small, isolated incident. But no, this is endemic. And I'm afraid I've paid him credit in the past, and I'll pay it to him now. Tommy Robinson was right about this when he first talked about it in Luton, around, I think it was 2002, 3, 4, somewhere around then. And he's been consistently right about it. And I think, again, he deserves credit for that. He's obviously got issues which people criticize him for, which I don't know about, and I never met Tommy. I've never spoken to Tommy. But I think he deserves credit for what he's got right. And, I'm not sure he's had that. So, look, that's an example of where the establishment's let down the British people. And you've had two-tier justice, two-tier policing. And it's really because people are frightened of basically admitting that post-war multiculturalism has failed. They're frightened of being called a racist, as Emily Maitlis called me, which I ignored.
How was that? Did she shake your hand when you got in there? How was she with you?
Well, I mean, she was fine until that moment, and I thought it was an extraordinary interview. I don't think it reflected very well on her. I don't think she was in any way fair or objective. She accused me of making money out of the rape gang inquiry. I've actually given money to it, so she hadn't done any homework there.
Can I ask you a favour? Please subscribe. 90% of you are not subscribed, so if you sub, it will help the channel, and I'll keep making these clips.